Right now, as you're listening to this, your body is living in the past.
Every thought you keep repeating, every emotion you're holding on to is literally programming your future.
What if I told you you've been trained your entire life to believe you're limited, when in reality, you're capable of becoming something supernatural?
Not in a fantasy way, but in a scientifically proven way.
What if you could rewire your brain, heal your body, and create a completely new reality just by changing how you think and feel?
Sounds impossible.
That's exactly what this audiobook is about to challenge. Hello, everyone.
Hi, all. So glad to have you here.
Welcome to Book Podcast Zone. Today, we are immersing ourselves in some really groundbreaking concepts from the architecture of becoming supernatural.
Yeah, we're taking these dense, sometimes kind of mystical concepts and, well, breaking them wide open through the lens of hard science.
Exactly. And our mission today is very specific, right?
Completely. We are going to map out the entire biological and quantum journey of moving from a limited, habit-driven human being to someone who can actively, consciously shape their reality.
Which is a huge promise, I know.
It is, but we're going to explore the actual mechanics of how this happens in the brain and the body. We're going to show you exactly how this applies to your life right now.
Yeah, so we aren't just talking in the abstract philosophical sense here.
No, not at all. We are bringing the empirical data right to your doorstep.
Okay, let's unpack this. The material begins by describing a really profound shift that happens when you start watching your own mind.
Right, the awakening of the inner observer.
Yeah. And to make this tangible, I always think of it like sitting in a movie theater.
Oh, that's a great way to look at it.
Right, because for most of our lives, we're so completely engrossed in the film that we actually think we are the character on the screen.
We feel everything they feel.
Exactly. We feel their panic when they're chased. We feel their anger when they're betrayed. Our heart rate literally synchronizes with the tension of the narrative. We're just completely swept up.
You're totally lost in the illusion.
Yes. But the awakening the source material talks about, it's that sudden jarring moment where the illusion just breaks.
You snap out of it.
Yeah, you realize you're actually the person sitting in the dark theater, eating popcorn, feeling the sticky floor beneath your shoes, just watching light projected onto a screen.
You are the observer of the story, not the story itself.
Precisely. So from a scientific standpoint, what is actually happening there?
Well, that is the perfect visualization for the psychology of metacognition.
Metacognition, meaning thinking about thinking.
Literally, yes. Metacognition is thinking about your own thinking.
Yep.
But let's look at the actual neurological mechanics of it, because it's fascinating.
I'd love to.
Why is separating your identity from your fleeting thoughts the absolute first non-negotiable step to changing your reality? It comes down to a network in your brain called the default mode network, or the DMN.
The DMN. Got it.
When you are just reacting to life on autopilot, your DMN is running the show. It's the neurological seat of your ego, your past memories, and your continuous self-referential thoughts.
So it's basically the voice in my head that never shuts up.
Exactly. And as long as you identify completely with every passing thought generated by the DMN, you are a victim to your biology.
Because you just react.
Right. A stressful thought triggers the amygdala signals the hypothalamus dumps corticotropin-releasing hormone into your system,
And that's a lot of chemistry really fast.
it happens in milliseconds.
Yeah.
And suddenly, you are instantly swept down the chemical river of stress.
So you're drowning in it.
But the moment you step back, the moment you become that observer eating the popcorn, you activate your prefrontal cortex.
Oh, okay. So the front of the brain comes online.
Yes, and you sever that automatic stimulus response loop. You create this tiny, measurable gap of space in your neural processing.
And what happens in that gap?
In that gap, you reclaim your power to choose your biological response.
Okay, I want to ground this in a visceral, everyday scenario for a second.
Let's do it.
Imagine you are stuck in gridlock traffic on the I-405 in Los Angeles.
Oh, man, a total nightmare.
Right. It is an absolute parking lot. The heat is shimmering off the asphalt. Red brake lights stretch out for miles into the smog, and you are instantly consumed by road rage.
Your blood is just boiling.
Yes. Your chest tightens, your heart rate spikes to 100 beats a minute, your hands are gripping the steering wheel so hard your knuckles are white, and you're entirely consumed by the injustice of this delay.
That is being the character in the movie.
Exactly. Your biology is fully hijacked by the environment. But if that inner observer clicks on, if that prefrontal cortex activates, you suddenly lean back against the headrest.
You take a breath.
Yeah, you take a breath and say, wow, look at how stressed my body is getting over something I literally cannot control.
Which changes everything.
You are still sitting in the exact same traffic, but the traffic is no longer inside of you.
That's beautifully put. You are witnessing the biological program running rather than being the program.
Right, you're watching the machinery operate.
And that conscious separation is the absolute foundation for everything supernatural that follows. Because, if you cannot observe the automated self, you simply cannot change it.
Makes total sense. Before we look at the two minds we constantly juggle, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
So once you step back to observe your mind, you quickly realize there isn't just one single voice up there.
Oh, definitely not. It's really noisy.
Very noisy. There is a very distinct, often exhausting duality. We're constantly juggling the analytical, survival-based logic, the thinking mind, and the intuitive, physical resonance of the body, which the material calls the feeling self.
Right, and the thinking mind seems totally obsessed with categorization.
Yeah. It never stops sorting things.
It's constantly scanning for threats, replaying past arguments, and projecting worst-case scenarios into the future.
What's fascinating here is the sheer biological conflict this creates. The thinking mind, which is housed largely in the neocortex, is hardwired for physical survival in a dangerous world.
So it's basically a threat detector.
Exactly. It is a brilliant prediction machine. To keep you alive, it has to assume the worst. It has to shout.
Because shouting gets your attention.
Right. If there is a rustle in the bushes, your brain needs to scream, "Predator!" to get you to run. But the feeling self, it's heavily tied to the enteric nervous system.
Which is in the gut, right?
Yes, the massive network of neurons in your gut and your autonomic nervous system. It isn't concerned with predicting predators, it's concerned with systemic alignment and truth.
So it's not shouting.
No, it communicates through subtle chemical shifts, which is why we call it a gut feeling.
But I have to ask, why does it feel like such an unfair fight?
How do you mean?
Like, you sit down to make a major life decision, and your thinking mind just throws 50 worst-case scenarios at you with a megaphone.
Giving you literal bullet point lists of failure.
Exactly. Meanwhile, your intuition, your feeling self, is just gently tugging at your sleeve with a quiet sense of, no, this isn't right. Why does the thinking mind always seem to shout while the feeling self only whispers?
That is such a crucial question. It's because the thinking mind operates on high beta brainwaves when it's stressed.
And high beta is fast.
Very fast. It demands all the neurological bandwidth. Let's look at the classic tech worker in Silicon Valley for a US-based live example.
Oh, perfect.
You have someone living entirely from the neck up. They are staring at screens for 14 hours a day, overanalyzing code, stressing over a mountain of unread emails, and agonizing over the optics of their next board meeting.
Just living in pure mental overdrive.
That is the thinking mind operating in an absolute overdrive of beta brainwaves. But underneath all of that manic cognitive activity, they are completely ignoring their biology.
Right, they don't even realize they're tense.
They're ignoring the tight, acidic knot in their stomach. They are ignoring the shallow breathing and the deep feeling of burnout that hits them every morning.
So the body is trying to warn them.
Their feeling self is whispering, hey, our biology is failing, this environment is toxic, but the thinking mind is shouting, keep pushing, ignore the body, hit the deadline.
And when you live like that, totally disconnected from the neck down, the body eventually forces you to listen, doesn't it?
It has to. It will scream through chronic illness or a complete nervous system collapse. It's a tragic disconnect.
It really is. If this is resonating with you, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
So if we are trapped in the thinking mind's repetitive loops, how do we actually escape? Resolving that mismatch requires stepping out of the familiar, which introduces a massive psychological hurdle.
It's the ultimate paradox of human nature, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You desperately want a new life. You want new opportunities, better health, deeper peace. But at the exact same time, you want the process of getting that new life to feel exactly as comfortable and predictable as your old life.
We want transformation without the friction of change.
Yes. But why is that friction so painful? Why does changing a simple daily habit feel like wrestling a bear?
Let's talk about the neuroscience of the known. To your brain, the unknown is biologically dangerous.
Just because it's new.
Because of energy conservation. Your brain is an incredibly demanding organ. It accounts for only about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes 20% of your body's energy.
Wow, 20%, that's huge.
Mostly in the form of ATP. So to conserve that precious energy, the brain wants to automate as much of your life as possible.
So it builds habits.
Right. When you run on autopilot, waking up, showering the same way, having the exact same stressful thoughts, your brain doesn't have to work very hard. The neural pathways are paved and smooth like a superhighway.
And breaking free means getting off the highway.
It requires the immense conscious effort of firing new neurons. And to the primitive brain, making a different choice feels biologically dangerous. It literally triggers a physiological alarm bell.
And that makes so much sense of why we self-sabotage. I mean, picture a commuter in Chicago.
Okay, freezing cold out.
Freezing. Every single morning, they walk out their door, take the exact same route down the sidewalk, wait on the exact same platform for the L train, stop at the exact same coffee shop, and have the exact same internal complaints every single day.
For years.
For years. Breaking the known doesn't necessarily mean moving to an ashram in India. It means literally turning left instead of right when they walk out the door.
Just disrupting the autopilot program.
Exactly. Taking a bus instead of the L train. It is profoundly uncomfortable because you are forcing the brain to process new environmental data and burn energy.
And that discomfort isn't a sign that you are doing something wrong. It is the literal friction of new neural networks forming. You simply cannot create a new personal reality while holding on to the exact same biological personality.
Ready to learn how to focus your new energy? First, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
So once you break the old routine, you need a new target. The brain is awake, but where do you go? This is where intention comes in.
And this is where a lot of self-help stuff gets kind of fluffy. But the source material is very precise.
It has to be precise. The real magic happens when your thoughts and your feelings line up. And this is way more than just wishful thinking.
Right. It's not just making a vision board.
An intention, which is your conscious analytical thought about what you want without the emotional energy behind it, is dead in the water.
Okay, I like to compare it to driving a car.
I love a good analogy.
Focus intention is the steering wheel. But it's pointing you exactly where you want to go. But the feeling, the emotion, that is the gas pedal.
You need both to move.
Exactly. You can steer all day long, but if you don't step on the gas, the feeling you're just sitting in the driveway.
That is a brilliant way to frame it because they must align to create an electromagnetic signature that changes your reality.
Electromagnetic signature?
Yes. Every time you have a thought, your brain produces an electrical charge. But feelings and emotions produce magnetic charges. So your intention is the electrical signal, and the feeling is the magnetic draw.
Wow. Okay. So let's bring this into a real-world scenario.
Let's look at a startup founder in Austin, Texas.
A tough crowd to pitch to.
Very tough. She is walking into a boardroom to pitch to investors. Now, she has a brilliant business plan. That is her thought, her intention. The electrical signal is clear.
The steering wheel is perfectly aligned.
But as she walks in, she feels terrified and unworthy. That is her feeling.
Oh no, so the gas pedal is in reverse.
Exactly. The investors won't bite. Her two minds aren't lined up. Her thought is projecting success, but her emotional magnetic signature is broadcasting fear. Reality responds to the alignment of the two.
So it's not enough to just think positive thoughts. You have to embody the feeling. To keep mastering your own mind, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
But where does that powerful, resonant feeling come from? It definitely does not come from the head.
And here's where it gets really interesting. Because we always say, follow your heart is this cute poetic metaphor.
Like a Hallmark card.
Exactly. But the source material treats it as biological science.
Yes, the surprising role your heart plays as a literal second brain.
Okay, but how can we scientifically claim the heart is a brain? It pumps blood.
It sounds wild until you look at neurocardiology. The heart possesses its own complex intrinsic nervous system.
Wait, really? The heart has neurons?
Yes. It contains roughly 40,000 sensory neurites. These are actual neurons living inside your heart tissue that can learn, remember, and make decisions.
That is mind-blowing.
And this leads to heart coherence. When you experience stress, your heart rate variability is jagged and erratic. But when you actively sustain elevated emotions like deep gratitude or compassion, the heart enters a state of rhythm and coherence.
So it beats in a smoother pattern. But how does that affect the brain and our head?
Through the vagus nerve. When the heart enters that coherent rhythm, it sends signals up the vagus nerve to the brain that actually optimize cognitive function.
It optimizes the brain.
It literally acts as an inhibitor to the amygdala, shutting off the fear alarm, and opens up the frontal lobe for better decision-making.
Okay, let's paint a picture of a high-stress Wall Street trader in New York.
total chaos on the trading floor.
Right. The market takes a sudden dip, red numbers everywhere, people are screaming. The survival reaction is pure panic.
Amygdala in overdrive.
Yes, and they make reactive, fear-based decisions. But imagine that trader taking just 2 minutes to center their breathing deep into their chest.
Activating that gratitude or stability.
Exactly. They are consciously creating heart coherence, which literally unlocks the brain's frontal lobe for better decision-making while everyone else is panicking.
They are using the heart to hack the brain. We're about to cross into the quantum realm next, so please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
Okay, so when the head and the heart are coherent, they tune you into something much larger than yourself.
Yes, they tune you into the field of infinite potential.
Which sounds incredibly sci-fi.
It is where science meets mystery. The quantum field is an invisible web of energy and potential where all possibilities exist right now.
See, I have to push back playfully here.
Go for it.
How does a regular person conceptualize a field beyond space and time without feeling totally overwhelmed, like it's too abstract?
It can be overwhelming, but let's take it out of the physics lab and into an experience. Imagine standing in the vast open desert of Joshua Tree, California at night.
Oh, the stars there are incredible.
Exactly. You are miles away from the city. You stand perfectly still and look up at the stars, and you feel this overwhelming sense of awe and vastness.
Where you just feel so small, but in a good way.
In that specific moment, your past completely dissolves from your active memory. Your anxieties about the future vanish.
You're just there.
You are suspended purely in the present moment. That sensation where the past and future disappear and only pure, infinite possibility exists in the present moment, that is your consciousness tapping into the quantum field.
Wow, so it's a feeling of pure presence.
Exactly. Before we bring this back down to the physical body, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
So it's great to visit the field of infinite potential in your mind while looking at the stars, but how do we anchor that into our physical flesh and bone on a Tuesday afternoon?
This brings us to rewiring your mind-body connection.
Because the body remembers more than you realize, right?
Oh, the body is literally the unconscious mind.
That is such a heavy concept. The body is the unconscious mind.
It memorizes everything. Trauma, stress, joy. Let's look at the mechanics of emotional addiction.
Addiction, like to a substance.
Yes, but to your own chemicals. Every emotion has a chemical signature. If you've been stressed for 10 years, your body cells actually crave the chemicals of stress, like cortisol.
So your cells are basically addicted to feeling bad.
Exactly. The receptor sites adapt to need that cortisol. So when you try to change your reality and be happy, your body throws a fit. It goes through physical withdrawals from your old self.
That makes it so much harder to change. Like, I'm thinking of a marathon runner recovering from a knee injury in Denver, Colorado.
High altitude, intense training.
Right. They've done the rehab, and the doctor says the tissue is fully healed. But when they run, they still run with a limp.
Because the body remembers the pain.
Exactly. The cells are still bracing for impact. So rewiring means mentally rehearsing a perfect pain-free run.
With elevated emotion.
Yes, to convince the body the trauma is over, flooding it with new chemistry until the cells let go of the addiction to the trauma.
To uncover the bridge between science and spirit next, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
The fact that we can physically heal through thought sounds mystical, but it's firmly grounded in modern research.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, supernatural isn't the opposite of natural. It's simply the next step.
It's ancient wisdom and modern research coming alive together.
Exactly. The practices mystics have used for centuries, like deep meditation, visualization, and chanting, are now being validated by modern tools like brain scans and heart monitors.
Which is such a relief.
How so?
Well, I think many listeners feel this pressure to choose between being a logical skeptic or a spiritual seeker. Like they're mutually exclusive.
They aren't at all.
Knowing that this is measurable science takes the woo-woo out of it.
Look at major research hospitals right now in Boston, like Harvard Medical School.
What do they do?
They're literally hooking up lifelong monks to fMRI machines and EEG sensors, and they're physically mapping the biological changes created by deep spiritual states.
They're watching the brain change in real time.
Yes. They're seeing gamma brainwaves spike to amplitudes previously thought to be impossible, creating massive neurogenesis. Science is proving the spiritual experience is a biological reality.
Are you ready to meet your future self? First, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
So with science and spirit united, we now have the blueprint to engineer who we are about to become.
Which means aligning with your future self.
Becoming who you're meant to be. with clues hidden in your present choices and feelings.
I always compare it to dressing for the job you want, but on an internal, emotional level.
That's a perfect analogy.
You can't wait for the success to feel the joy. You have to feel the joy to attract this success.
Because of the biology we just discussed, you must generate the emotion of the future ahead of the actual event.
To signal the body.
Yes. This signals the body that the future has already arrived. It alters your physiological signature.
Let's use an aspiring actor living in a tiny cramped apartment in Hollywood as an example.
Okay, struggling to get roles.
Yeah, they wake up feeling the lack of roles, the stress of rent. That feeling guarantees another day of exactly the same reality. But what if they wake up feeling the profound gratitude and exhaustion of having just wrapped a major feature film?
They hold that feeling until their biology shifts.
Exactly. They wear the emotional signature of the future. So when they walk into an audition, they aren't desperate. They're magnetic.
To discover the practical tool to do this every day, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
So we know what we need to do align with the future. But what is the daily practice that actually gets us there?
This is where meditation comes in as a gateway.
And I have to acknowledge a massive frustration here.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Listeners are saying, I can't meditate, my brain won't shut up.
It is the most common roadblock. But we need to redefine meditation based on the source material. It's not about turning the brain off completely.
It's not about an empty void.
Not at all. It's about crossing the bridge from the analytical conscious mind into the operating system of the subconscious. It's about changing brain waves.
Okay, how does that work in practice?
Let's take a frantic lawyer in downtown Manhattan.
Stressed, running on cortisol.
Exactly. They close their office door for just 10 minutes at lunch. Through specific, rhythmic breathing, they lower their brainwaves from a high beta stress state to a relaxed alpha state.
So they just slow the frequency down.
Yes. They aren't seeking total enlightenment. They are effectively rebooting their mental computer before their next trial so they can operate from clarity.
Want to know the physical proof of this transformation? Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
And when you make this practice a habit, the changes aren't just in your head, they are measurable in the lab.
The actual science of transformation.
Real measurable change in the brain and body when stepping into a new mindset. We're talking about neuroplasticity and epigenetics.
Break those down for me.
Neuroplasticity means new thoughts wire new neural networks. Epigenetics means elevated emotions actually signal new genes.
They turn genes on and off.
Yes, they downregulate disease genes and upregulate health genes.
So what does this all mean? It means you are not genetically doomed.
Not at all. Your biology is highly adaptable to your environment, and your thoughts are your internal environment.
Look at the biohacking communities in Miami, Florida.
Oh yeah, they're deep into this.
They're using wearable tech, like Oura Rings or Apple Watches, to literally watch their heart rate variability improve and stress markers plummet just by changing their daily mental state.
They are watching their biology transform in real time. Before we dive into the power of the unknown, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
But as your body transforms and your old life falls away, you enter a space that terrifies most human beings. The unknown.
Which can be incredibly uncomfortable, but it's exactly where growth and magic live.
We are biologically hardwired to fear the unknown, though. To a caveman, the unknown meant a predator in the bushes.
True.
Today, the unknown just means an unpredictable future, but our nervous systems still react like it's a tiger.
This raises an important question, though. How can you create anything new if you only ever cling to what you already know?
You can't. You're just repeating the past.
Exactly. The void of uncertainty is the fertile ground for the supernatural.
Take a musician moving to Nashville, Tennessee.
Big risk.
Huge. They move without a record deal, a band, or a safety net. The biological urge is to run back to a safe hometown.
Back to the known.
But sitting in that uncomfortable mystery is the exact pressure required to force creative evolution.
Ready to start building your actual reality? Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
Because once you stop fearing the unknown, you can finally use it as a blank canvas to build your new life.
Which is about shaping a personal reality rooted in possibility, not escaping life, but changing how you live it.
Let's clarify. This isn't toxic positivity, right?
No, absolutely not.
It's not ignoring your bills or pretending bad things don't exist. It's about changing your internal state so you interact with those bills and your entire life differently.
It comes down to the mechanics of observation in quantum physics. The observer affects the reality. By changing the lens through which you view your life, the actual opportunities that present themselves will change.
That makes me think of the community organizers in Detroit, Michigan.
Great example.
For years, the narrative there was purely about urban decay and ruin. That was the old reality. But rather than focusing purely on that narrative, they shifted to a narrative of urban farming and artistic revival.
A completely new reality.
Yes, and by observing the city through that lens, they drew entirely new energy and investment to the city. They transformed empty lots into gardens.
We're about to look at the stories you tell yourself, so please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
The reality you create is ultimately built from the foundational stories you've been telling yourself since childhood.
The narratives you carry hold incredible power. We are essentially meaning-making machines. Every event that happens to us is neutral until we assign a story to it.
Like, I'm unlucky.
Right. If your story is I'm unlucky, your brain will filter out every piece of good luck that comes your way.
It's like software running in the background of a computer.
Exactly like that.
If the background software is buggy-like, if your core code says, I'm not good enough, then every app you try to open, whether it's relationships or career, will eventually crash.
You'll subconsciously sabotage it. Let's bring up the classic starving artist trope in places like Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, there are so many talented people there tracked by that story.
If a creative person clings to the story that art requires suffering and poverty, they will subconsciously sabotage financial success. Rewriting the story to art brings abundance changes the trajectory entirely.
Before we reach our final, powerful conclusion, please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
Shedding the old story and stepping into the new one isn't the end of a book, it's the opening of a completely new world.
It's becoming supernatural, which is a new beginning. We've gone from the first episode's observer to this final state of being. And I want to emphasize, supernatural just means a highly elevated, highly aware human being.
And we have to remind the listener that this is a daily practice.
It's not a one-and-done thing.
No, you will slip back into the old self. The mastery is in how quickly you catch it and return to the new self. It's the recovery time,
So think about the everyday person listening to this right now.
wherever they are.
Whether you're walking your dog in a Midwestern suburb or riding the subway in a coastal city, you now have the tools to pause, breathe, tune into your heart, and actively command your future.
Thank you for taking this incredible journey with us. Please like, subscribe, and share for more updates.
As we move into the final wrap-up, I want to reiterate why this matters to you. You have absolute agency over your own biological and energetic destiny.
It's all in your hands. We've spent all this time talking about how you can use these tools to change your personal reality. But consider this. What happens to the collective reality when an entire family, a workplace, or a whole community decides to become supernatural at the exact same time? If one coherent heart can heal a body, what could a million coherent hearts do to the world?
That is something to truly think about. Thank you all for joining us. Keep exploring, and please remember to like, subscribe, and share. Goodbye, everyone.
Take care, everyone.